Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the third episode of the Triple Threat, the three-peat. Um, it's funny because it's really kind of the same amount of time that we would normally go for like one longer episode. Um, it just feels like a lot because we've hit record three times. Um, so yeah, and hope you're enjoying these. And speaking of three-peat, as I mentioned in the last episode, um, we talked about airplanes. We didn't make it to trains, but we did politics, and now I got some sports here. Um, the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl, going for their three-peat, and I just want to. I want to throw it out there. I want to give myself a pat on the back here. Let me make sure I don't hurt myself here, but I placed a few bets last summer. Uh, and they all ended up being very good. So I hit this was a couple weeks ago because it was the end of the season. I bet on the Tennessee Titans to have the worst record in the NFL. The Tennessee Titans have the number one overall pick in the NFL. So I hit. They did chop it three ways because technically there's three teams that finished 3-14. But the Titans do technically have the number one overall pick because they had the worst strength of schedule. So by my definition, right, I know FanDuel didn't pay me because they'll look for any excuse to pay you less. Um, but by the NFL standards, I chose the team with the worst record in the NFL correctly. I put that bet in like July. There was a bet I made in June where I took the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC championship. Um, I forget I forget what it was at the time. I could go back and look, but I don't feel like it. I think it was, I want to say it was 17-1 or 7-1. Maybe the NFC was 7-1
Evan would have been a little closer.
because I also have the Eagles, and this is what I'm getting to. I have the Eagles to win the Super Bowl that I placed over the summer as well. That might have been like a July or August thing. And I think that was 17-1. Backing up even further, I think we both did this. I don't know. You can confirm. The day
Mhm.
after the Super Bowl last year, I placed a bet on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year. And
What?
I got a 50% odds boost at the time from DraftKings. So I am sitting on a Kansas City to win the Super Bowl ticket at plus 975, so almost 10-1, right? And a Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl at 17-1. So this is a cigar game for me. I'll make some prop bets. I'll probably bet on the total, but it's a cigar game. I'm sitting on either 10-1 if the Chiefs win or 17-1 if the Eagles win from bets that I made in February and July of last year. Like, how often
Wait,
does that happen?
so I just looked and they took the Chiefs less than 24 hours after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, same. I think we both did. So, um, I also took the Super Bowl matchup of Chiefs versus Eagles. I forget what that might have been 8-1. So I hit that obviously. I did have another matchup of, so I took two. I took the one that I thought was probably going to happen, which it did, right? Which was the Chiefs Eagles. And then the one that I wanted to see was Buffalo Detroit, right? So obviously Buffalo Detroit didn't hit, but I'm not going to sit here and be all high and mighty like I hit all of my future bets because I didn't, right? I missed the Buffalo Detroit matchup one. Um,
And in full transparency, did you have any other teams outright to win?
no,
Okay. Because I only have this Kansas City bet for futures.
Yeah. No, I just had the Eagles and the Chiefs.
And then I did take Kansas City in the game -1.5 because why not? We're already here.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's Mahomes and like the meme says, like the graph
It's not that hard, dude.
where all the people in the middle are like, but this and that and this and that, and the low IQ people are like, oh, just bet on Pat Mahomes, and then the high IQ people are like, yeah, just bet on Mahomes. But
Yep.
everyone in the middle is like, yeah, but this and taking count for that and this and that. It's like, no, 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 just bet on Mahomes. It's fine.
I forgot last year that San Francisco kicked in overtime.
Oh,
They
well, it
they
was a
kicked a
new,
they kicked a field goal.
huh?
I didn't remember that.
I didn't remember that either.
Well, 'cause I think the weird thing was is that they took the ball. And it's like the rule is that both teams get the ball, so you probably want to kick.
Right.
Because I think Mahomes would like when they were like, "Oh, we'll take the ball." Mahomes is like, "They took the ball, dude."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, with the new overtime rule, why
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
you
don't
just
take
kick
the
it?
ball.
You don't take the ball.
Al Shanahan,
I
fine
mean,
cut.
unless like that would just be ridiculous, right? If you're trying to play like 4D chess and be like, "Well, I'm confident my team's gonna score the touchdown, and then the other team's probably gonna score the touchdown, so I'll have the ball for the third and I can win on a field goal." Like, if that's how you're thinking, like that's just stupid.
Against the Chiefs.
I know, exactly. But if that's how you're thinking, you don't kick the field goal. Like if you are trying to play the 4D chess and be like, oh, I'll get the third possession to kick the field goal to win because I'm going to score a touchdown and then they're going to score a touchdown, you you can't. That scenario doesn't work if you kick the field goal with the first possession. You have to score a touchdown.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. So, yeah, we got because I think this episode will come out on the Thursday before the Super Bowl. Um, and then we'll probably have to figure out to record another episode at an odd hour. We'll have to go either like the Saturday or Sunday morning, so we can actually watch the Super Bowl.
Yep. I mean, there's not really much to watch. The Chiefs are gonna win.
Yeah, yeah. I saw. Hold
I
on,
don't
let
know
me see
why
if I
everyone's
can.
overthinking this. Like Mahomes and Reed versus Sirianni and Hurts, and people are like evaluating this game. I don't
Yeah.
get it.
So I saw this on Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So this is a retarded statistic, by the way, but I just want to show you how dumb people really are. So some guy tweeted and goes, in this century, every time the Super Bowl has been played in between the two teams, right? With one team traveling east and one team traveling west, the team traveling west has won. This year, the Chiefs are traveling east and the Eagles are traveling west. So he's insinuating that the Eagles are going to win. So uh, let me recap this because there are three, six, seven, eight. There's 8 instances of this happening since the year 2000. 2002, Super Bowl was in New Orleans. They say St. Louis traveled east, New England traveled west. New England won the game. 2003. I'll get through all of them and then I'll poke the holes. 2003, Super Bowl was in San Diego. Oakland traveled east. Tampa traveled west. Tampa won. 2006, game was in Detroit. Seattle traveled east. Pittsburgh went west. Pittsburgh won. 2009, game was in Tampa. Arizona went east. Pittsburgh went west. And Pittsburgh won. 2013 was in New Orleans. San Francisco went east. Baltimore went west. Baltimore wins. 2015, Super Bowl is in Arizona. Seattle goes east, New England goes west, New England wins. 2019 in Atlanta, the Rams go east, Patriots go west, Patriots win. And then last year is in Las Vegas, San Francisco goes east, Kansas City goes west, Kansas City wins. So, a couple things here why this is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. Um, the first one is was pointed out in the comments section immediately that said, yeah, except also the teams traveling west had Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Patrick Mahomes, and the other teams didn't.
Yeah, I like
The other
that
thing,
kind of jumped out to me.
so the second thing here, um, Super Bowl being in New Orleans, right? I'm not a geography major here. I don't pretend to be. But in 2002, the Super Bowl being in New Orleans, you're going to tell me that St. Louis traveled east, right? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I guess technically, right? If you're drawing lines of longitude, they went east. What is it? 7 degrees of longitude east? Dude, it's south. St. Louis went south, right? Like if you took a random person in St. Louis, right, and you said, "Hey, what direction is New Orleans from here?" They'd be like, "Oh, it's south." That's retarded. You don't say, "Oh, I'm in St. Louis. I have to go east to go to New Orleans." That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Same thing with Oakland. When the Super Bowl was in San Diego, in the same state, the Super Bowl was in San Diego in 2003. Oakland allegedly went east. Again, what did they go? 2 degrees of longitude to the east? Like they went south. They went south. They did not go east.
St. Louis is funny. It's almost a straight line.
It's that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's east, but like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just absurd. Like the way this is just it's retarded. So now in 2025, right? They're saying Kansas City is going east to New Orleans. I mean, Kansas City's not that far away from St. Louis.
Well, Kansas City,
I know it's on the other side of the state from St. Louis,
so
but still,
so when I look on the map, Kansas City is east. Now we're arguing semantics, but or I'm
it's
sorry,
still
it is
south.
west of New Orleans. I mean, it's a lot closer to Houston than it is New Orleans, like on the longitude line.
Right.
Dude, St. Louis is like that is fucking semantics.
Yeah, same thing like I said with Oakland and San Diego.
Yeah, even you know what though, compared to St. Louis and New Orleans, that looks like oh yeah, no, that's way east. That's so bad.
Yeah. But this is the dumb shit that people will do, right? They're like, "Oh, yeah, no. That means Philadelphia is going to win."
I
No,
think
it doesn't.
I think they're also forgetting the part where again, this game is not hard to figure out. It's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid against Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. What are we talking about?
Right. Give me Mahomes and Reed.
Oh well, maybe Saquon can take no. When has
Yeah.
a running back ever taken, I mean, truly taken over the game?
Right. Right. Doesn't happen.
Belichick let Thurman Thomas take over the game.
Yeah. 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 Said, okay, go ahead, run the ball.
Yeah, he's gonna get his. Give it to him.
Right. Right.
This
So,
game is not hard to figure out. I should check some alternates.
yeah.
We haven't had a blow. So this is like the big brain anti teaser.
Yeah.
That's gotten me. The big brain anti teaser has gotten me far this year
Yeah.
with Ohio State. I had the Bills in their first game. Uh,
You had Philly minus 11 in
I had
the
Philly this
NFC.
week. I had Ohio State in three of their games. I took their regular spread. I took their alternate spread. It all hit. I took the Bills against the Broncos, regular spread, alternate spread. All I do is the big brain anti teaser is when I think there is a mismatch, but like people are like, well, I don't know. And it's like I just take the 6 points of a teaser, I go the opposite direction and take the team on the alternate.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like it doesn't always work because the big brain anti-teaser, you need to like have a narrative in mind, which is very subjective.
Right, right.
So my narrative with Philly and Washington, because I sent it to Chris, Chris goes, yeah. I go, well, Jalen Hurts can't throw. He can't run because he's hurt. Um, Sirianni's a retard, and everyone loves the Commanders.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels can't do any wrong. They're
yeah.
nasty. They beat the Lions. So give me the Eagles minus 11 and a half.
Right, right. And they did.
Yep. But then it's like with Ohio State, it's like you could have said that Ohio State game, the best thing ever was them like struggling a little bit against Texas. Oh, but I had to do all that live. That's right. So I ended up taking Ohio State, gave up a touchdown on the first drive.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking them 2.5, 6.5, at like regular odds, and I took them 9.5 at one point. That's the thing. So like in this game, it's not like necessarily narrative driven, except for the idea that people think Philly is a good team, and I agree, they're a good team.
Yeah,
But to think that team's going to knock off Mahomes,
yeah,
stop it.
yeah. I mean, we did this a few weeks ago, right? Like, of the coaches and coach and quarterback combinations that were going to make the playoffs, like, who were the best ones? Like we said, it was Reed and Mahomes way above everyone else. There's a massive drop off. And then it was probably
And
what,
everyone else has been eliminated.
McVay and Stafford, right? Which they surprised everyone. Everyone thought they were going to get rolled in the first round by Minnesota, and they turn around and beat Minnesota, right? Because McVay and Stafford were a better combination than Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold, right? Like,
Weird.
yeah, weird, right? And then obviously they lost in the next round, but you know, you have these coaches, right? So your last four combinations were Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels, right? Dan Quinn, been to a Super Bowl before, really good defensive coach. Nah, still kind of a moron, right? Like not hasn't really proven much. He has proven that he's a great defensive coach, right? For sure. There's no question there. And he has been to a Super Bowl before. So he has a little bit of a pedigree there. So maybe that was shame on us for not seeing that before. But Jane Daniels is a rookie quarterback, right? So like Quinn has a little bit of history. I don't really trust him that much, but he's got a rookie quarterback. Um, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, again, they've both been there, right? They've been to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Sirianni's kind of a putz, right? Hurts, in my opinion, isn't a good quarterback, right? He's a good athlete. He's a good player. He's a good NFL player. I don't think he's a good quarterback. And then you have obviously Reed and Mahomes. Like I said, they're way above everyone else. And then you have Sean McDermott and Josh Allen. Like we said, almost verbatim, however many weeks ago when we talked about this, we said Josh Allen is the quarterback. You have the quarterback with Josh Allen. You do not have the coach with Sean McDermott. And what did we see in that game? We saw terrible coaching, right? So yeah, I mean, at times Josh Allen was a little bit shaky, especially that first drive to start the game, but he fucking did everything he could to put that team in a position to win. Like that throw at the end of the game, how the hell he got that off and it hit Dalton Kincaid in the hands, right? And so to me, coaching lost them that game. Great game, by the way, like very entertaining to watch. Both championship games were great games to watch. Um, obviously until the fourth quarter in the Philly game when they just kind of was like, yeah, fuck you, we're done here. We're just gonna run away with it. But um, yeah, those were your last four teams. That's your coach quarterback combination, right? And here we are. It's Reed and Mahomes, and it's Hurts and Sirianni, right?
Chiefs
Goff
minus
and
six and a
Campbell
half
lost.
plus 203.
Yeah.
I just took it.
Why
Plus
would you say
minus
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 six?
six and a half plus 203.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe I'll sprinkle on that too.
The other one might be 8.5.
Yeah.
I don't know about 13 and a half in this one. I
Yeah.
that's big for a Super. You'd have to have a blowout.
Yeah. Have we had when's the last time was it the Patriots? Um in 2019, the last time we had a double digit winner in the Super Bowl?
No, didn't Tampa put it to Kansas City?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, didn't they win like 42 to 17 or something
I
like
don't know if
that?
they hung 42, but it's pretty severe.
Yeah.
31-9.
Yeah. Yeah, 31 to 9. Which is funny because the only time Pat Mahomes has either not made it to the Super Bowl or lost in the Super Bowl was because he lost to Tom Brady,
Yep.
either in the AFC Championship when he was with the Pats or in the actual Super Bowl. Other than that, I think Mahomes has either made it to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl. So that's
Chiefs
that's
won.
the other
Chiefs,
thing.
Chiefs beat the Niners by 11 the year before too. So there were
Okay.
3 straight years with a 10-point win.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so that's the other thing too here. Um, is everyone already starting like the GOAT talk, right? With Mahomes. Oh, no one's done a three-peat. And people are, and this is people just being retarded again. People are saying if Pat Mahomes wins three in a row, he's better than Brady. He's not. Again, like statistics exist in sports for a reason. As a Patriots fan, I sat here, no, not here, right? Because we weren't doing the podcast at the time, but back then, before Brady had won seven Super Bowls, right? When he was, he just had the first three. Everyone, and he obviously he went in '07 and lost. Everyone was trying to have the discussion about is Brady better than Montana? He's been to four. Or then Brady finally won one, and Brady was 4-1. And everyone was like, well, is Brady better than Montana? Are you going to hold that loss against him? Brady's been to five. Montana was four. And then everyone was like, yeah, but Montana was 4-0. And then, when that stopped? When
He
Brady
won
won
five.
six. When Brady won five. Yeah, when Brady won five, and then he won six, and then he won seven, right? So now there's no more, is Tom Brady better than Joe Montana? So for people to sit here and be like, well, if Pat Mahomes wins three in a row, he's better than Brady. He's not. Pat Mahomes will be better than Tom Brady when he wins seven Super Bowls, right? Because he's gonna have the statistics. That's the thing. That's the other thing is people can't separate the now from the total career, right? If you take Pat Mahomes' career trajectory from right now, this very moment, he may end up being better than Tom Brady. That's a fact, right? Like that he has, it is plausible, right? That Pat Mahomes ends his career better than Tom Brady. But right now, in January, right before the Super Bowl in 2025, Pat Mahomes is not better than Tom Brady.
And again, for me, the conversation starts at 7. You
Yeah,
win 7, and then you can defend your case or not.
right.
And if
Right.
you want to say, well, seven, Andy has a three-peat. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then it's like
Because, like I said, he's
he,
going to have the statistics. He's going to end up with more yards. He's going to end up with more touchdowns, right? Just because
yeah, it's
the
like,
way the
and
game had
then,
evolved.
yeah, it
Tom Brady
is.
was playing in the early 2000s when you would throw 26 touchdowns in a season and you'd be like fifth in the league.
And he also didn't come out being Tom Brady. It really wasn't until '07.
Right.
Pat Mahomes was Pat Mahomes in his first season.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because it's like if he wins seven eventually, and it goes, oh yeah, and he started his career, second year as a starter, won, which was four out of six, and they lost another Super Bowl in that time. Like that's a pretty good stretch.
Because my thing, right, like I mentioned before, if he ends up with five or six, right, he's not better.
Nope, it's just math.
If he ends up with seven and they tie and he has the career statistics, in my opinion, right, this is just my opinion. And if you want to call me biased because I'm a Patriots fan and I like Tom Brady, go ahead. You have every right to do so. But in my opinion, if Pat Mahomes wins seven, even with the three-peat, he's not better than Brady. Because what did I just say? Who could he not beat in order to win Super Bowls or reach the Super Bowls? Tom Brady. Every time Pat Mahomes has lost. The Pat Mahomes has only lost in the playoffs to Tom Brady.
Lost to Burrow once.
God, that's true too. He lost to Joe Burrow in 2021. Um, but outside of Joe Burrow, he's only lost to Tom Brady.
Yeah, so I mean, I like again, there's definitely something there. And that's why these arguments continue to exist. It's like if they both have seven, and let's say he doesn't have a three-peat, let's say, they win next year. You know what, even if he has a three-peat, you could even say it's like, well, he had a three-peat. And then you could like these are arguments you could make. It's like, well, he was 0-2 against Brady when
Right,
Brady was still like actually playing.
right.
And then you could say Brady, like they could also like
Was he
this
0
could
and
be a
3?
legit.
Didn't he lose two AFC title games and the
No, they
Super Bowl?
lost 18 and then the 20 Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they beat them also in that 2018 season, but
Okay.
um, again, you could sit here and say, well, Brady had his first three, then he had his second three. So it's like there was time in between. Like
Right,
there was a significant gap, and he got back to doing that.
right.
You could say that's more impressive than Mahomes just kind of beating up on the fucking sped
He
class now.
also went to 10.
And then he went to Tampa and won immediately. So it's
But no, but
like,
he went to 10 Super Bowls.
oh, yes. But Mahomes already been to this is five.
Yeah,
Like, um, again, but those are debates you can have, and I don't care. Like, if you like Pat Mahomes better, like Pat Mahomes. I don't give a fuck.
right,
Same thing if you like LeBron better than Jordan. I don't care.
right, right.
I'm unaffected. I like who I like.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Ultimately, it is the number for me because it's like I would actually, and you could potentially say it's less impressive to win seven in 11 years if you look at what it was. And it's like you beat Kyle Shanahan because you refused to run the football. You beat Kyle Shanahan because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. You beat Sirianni twice because no one else could have came out of the NFC.
Right,
So it's like, yeah, you got your seven, and it was a more dominant period of time. But did you ever have to go to the bottom and rebuild? Did you ever have to wait for a new cast of characters to come through?
right, right,
Like, what happens when Kelsey moves on and your lineman and Chris Jones?
right. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that if they win the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce might retire.
You could. then it's like, well, what's next?
And maybe
Like,
Chris Jones thinks about it too. Chris Jones has got, I think he's like 33, maybe. He's not young. He's been in the league a long time.
but it doesn't. Well, that's the thing. It's like it doesn't. The conversation doesn't start till 7,
Oh, he's 30. Sorry.
and even then, it's like I just don't care.
Yeah,
Like if they both have 7 and one was 0 and 2 against the other, I would probably lean towards the guy that was 2 and 0.
right,
That would be probably my lean.
right. If Mahomes gets 8, he's better than Brady.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah,
8 is more than 7.
that's correct.
And that is one thing I will remember is how garbage some of these fucking teams are and how fucking sackless they are. And it was like last year was the biggest fucking example. I hope fucking Philly comes out with this air raid attack and you're gonna sit there and be like, why the fuck did they do that? What is it about playing the Chiefs that makes these teams go full fucking simple jack?
Dude, it's the same thing as the Patriots during the dynasty. The Patriots for 20 years. The swinging gate in Indy, right? Like the
But
teams
that's
teams would
Indy.
just do the dumbest shit against the Patriots
Yeah.
because they were
Team
the Patriots. Like that's just now it's the Chiefs, right?
yeah.
People just do dumb shit.
I can for the life of me with those two coaches and those two teams specifically. Last year's Ravens, last year's 49ers. I cannot figure out why they didn't run the ball on that defense. That defense was not good against the run.
Yeah.
And they did not run the football. The Ravens.
Yeah.
Still cannot believe it. And people are gonna have to hear me talk about that. In 2023, the Ravens and the 49ers chose not to run the fucking football.
Yeah. So,
It's just Super Bowl preview that I didn't know we were doing.
yeah. On that note, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. So you and I briefly spoke after show. Um, I don't know when. Talking about pizza dough, right?
Yes.
And yeah, part of my continued Italian studies is I'll pull up um cooking videos from actual Italians, like locals.
Hmm.
And the channel's Italia Squisita, but whatever. So it's like it's a lot of Neapolitans and I don't know. They say it's supposed to be a way to like help learn the language. You listen to it, don't put the subtitles on, whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I'm picking it up. But the reason I continue to do it, two things. Helps me fall asleep and it helps me with the cooking. Like actually cooking these dishes the way that they're
Right.
supposed to be cooked.
Right.
Because I am interested in cooking. I don't really think I'm learning the language much from it. Maybe I am. I don't really know. Um, and uh, I enjoy learning about cooking because I enjoy cooking. So when I have questions about like some of these traditional recipes, what the fuck better way is there to discover
Right.
them?
Right.
Uh, so I had told you that I went and actually made pizza with like a Neapolitan style dough. And what I've like kind of found, one, the method of dough dramatically changes the pizza. Dramatically. And it dramatically changes how easy it is to stretch it, roll it, form it, move it, all of that. And I think that kind of goes into a little bit of like my preference for pizza because it's not like it's the same like it makes sense, right? I just never thought of it
Right. Right.
because I was never trained in cooking. It's a hobby of mine. It's an interest.
Right.
And then yeah, so it's like the type of dough you use dramatically changes. And yes, you can like blur the lines a little bit and it's still fine, but like a New York dough is way different than a Napolitano dough, which is way different than like a bar pizza dough. And all
Right.
of that matters. Um, and then it's also funny though, because all the Neapolitans, they all use the exact same ingredients, the exact same ratios, and like the exact same techniques. And you're sitting here being like, well, in America, it's usually things are like more like a dick swinging contest. So it's like, oh well, in my dough, I use
Right,
a little
right.
olive oil. And the Napolitanos will look at you like, why?
Yeah.
Like that's not how it's made.
Yeah.
Like, well, I use a little bit of malt. That way it helps brown the crust. They're like, when ovens are 900 degrees, that browns the crust.
Right, right.
And it's just funny because it's like imagine an entire culture sharing their pizza dough, like all the New York pizzerias
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
their dough with each other and like comparing, contrasting, and making whatever. But all the people from Napoli, they all make it the exact same
Right.
in various portions, but it's all dude,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's crazy. It is all the fucking same.
Yeah.
And then someone makes like a different one, and it's like, what the fuck's up with this weirdo? Um, so yeah, definitely an interesting discovery. That's like again, I never thought of it because it's not my realm of expertise. Obviously, I mean, it's something I like. But yeah,
Right.
the Neapolitan dough that I made was really good. So if you just look up Caputo, which is the flour company, Caputo Neapolitan dough, you'll find what I used. And I just the recipe they give you makes like 5 dough balls. Um, I just divided it by four and then used the one bigger dough theoretically.
Yeah.
And I don't have Lievito, which is the Italian. I think it directly translates to yeast, but it is a different type of yeast than we can generally buy in the store.
Okay.
So I just used regular from the jar,
Hmm.
active, dry, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like I mean, it just you can work it a little bit better. It stretches a little bit better. It was just yeah, it was pretty good. So would recommend.
I'll have to try it out. So my final thought is also going to be food related. Um, and I am gonna share, I think I said this in a previous episode, but it was probably a week ago. For anyone listening, I am heading back to Philly tomorrow. So outside of my fantastic 3 a.m. wake up that I get to do tomorrow, to get to the airport for a 6 a.m. flight, I am looking forward to Cap's Deli. So I have I've done the whatever the famous Eddie in whatever sandwich, right? I've done the Conshy Classic, which was their take on the cheesesteak, and I've done the roast pork, which was the worst one of the three. And I think tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go back to the Conshy Classic. I think
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say,
gonna,
have we gotten back to playing the hits now that you've tried enough?
yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the cheesesteak because it's fucking incredible. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And yeah, so that's it. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy. Leave us 5 stars and a review on Apple and Spotify. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, Twitter Sarcasm_speaks, Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Check out the show notes below. Uh, get some cool shit from the sponsors, support them, support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.